We are at an active land protection opportunity. We're calling this property the Embayment Lakes property, and there's a lot of really interesting glacial terrain on this property. And one of the unusual aspects of it is that as you go from east to west, you start out on top of this big upland plateau that sits between Crystal Lake and Big Flat Lake, and you as you move west, the elevation drops away, and you get a number of these streams that are places where the groundwater is forced out into the open and flows as surface water. But as the property flattens out, these streams, actually this one and another one that's just a little bit larger, actually soak back into the groundwater and proceed towards Rush Lake and Long Lake as groundwater. So what's an embayment lake? A lot of people ask us that. Long Lake, which is right behind me, is what's known as an embayment lake, which means it is a remnant of the glacial Lake Michigan at a time right after the last ice age when Lake Michigan was much higher. Shallow lakes like Long Lake are much more susceptible to man-made eutrophication, which is particularly important in a situation like this where we have a property that's 166 acres. Zoning allows for one home per acre. If you think about this large property with 100 homes or more on it, on these porous soils and surface water all draining to these lakes, all on their own septic systems, those septic systems move phosphorus into the groundwater, which goes to the lakes. And that's particularly important because the amount of phosphorus is what drives the speed of the eutrophication. From a recreational standpoint, the property has a lot of opportunities. There's a real diversity of habitat. There's enough upland to support things like hiking, great for wildlife viewing and hunting, that sort of thing. One of the other interesting aspects of this property is that as we're standing here in front of Rush Lake, the other one of the embayment lakes, is that this property occupies the only all of the land from Rush Lake to Long Lake here, which is a bottleneck for a corridor that links the Sleeping Bear Dunes out to US 31. And the Park Service, since the beginning of the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, has identified this as both an important scenic and wildlife corridor, and we are in the process of working with Sleeping Bear Dunes to convey this portion of the Embayment Lakes property to Sleeping Bear for inclusion in the national park, and keeping the remainder as a conservancy reserve. Thanks for watching. For more information, go to gtrlc.org.